M Hage. If I remember correctly, MGR first met Reg when Reg and some other guy were co-owners of a small retro store. MGR told them about his channel, and they gave him a bunch of games slash systems to borrow to make videos about. I believe this included an Atari Jaguar, and he made a video about the console shortly thereafter. Apparently, the store went out of business or decided to close shortly thereafter. At one point, Reg said that he was going back to school with online courses. MGR has been a terrible influence in my opinion. Instead of pursuing career and education, Reg's involvement in the MGR crew is almost positively the reason he has abandoned both career and education to take up professional e-begging and collecting. I think the fame of his popularity in the MGR videos has gotten way to his head. Social media attention is an addiction like any other, and much like a drug can distort people's perception of reality. He likely feels, as well as his online persona grows in popularity, he can ride on MGR's coattails for a living. Very sad, and if he has been collecting unemployment this whole time, I only imagine it's been the primary source of his collecting funds. People like MGR and Hancock should be ashamed of themselves and who they are dragging into this bizarro world. Another observation. I think Drunken Master Paul has been avoiding the crew for a good reason in recent years. MGR says it's because he only plays new games. I think the real reason is he doesn't want to live in the digital fantasy land that MGR and his crew has fostered and created. Frankly, I wouldn't either. You talk about digital fantasy land, and that's a really interesting way of looking at it. When you look at all these people and their personas, I mean, heck, many of these people actually have little animated like icons and everything. You know, they're really balls deep into this whole thing to where like they're characters. Whenever I see one of those characters and they have like a weird animated, not animated, but you know, like a cartoon figure, I'm like, they're literally turning themselves into a character. And when I see a YouTuber that just can't get off Twitter, that constantly tweets all day long, well, what's disturbing to me is this seeming dependence. When you have crews like this, and you have the run of the crew that just happens to attach themselves firmly to the coattails of the more popular ones. I've equated this to high school, back in high school, where the unpopular one hangs out with the popular one, hopefully to get some of that popularity to rub off on them. It's like a recreation of high school, but like for adults. And also, you have a lot of these people, you know, when I talked about the cartoon image, it's very obvious a lot of these people are living in a digital fantasy land because, you know, maybe their real lives are not that fulfilling, so they want to lose themselves and they want to become these characters that they're clearly not. I believe Radical Reggie's avatar is a very muscular person, very muscular, very cut. That's not the reality. That's another thing too. I see that as a common thing. I think Boogie might be the only one whose avatar is, you know, bigger and more out of shape than they are. Like, why is that? Just be realistic with yourself. If you're going to make a cartoon avatar, at least let it be an accurate representation of what you look like. Okay, not all of you are cut like Arnold Schwarzenegger in the 80s. All right, get off of it. All right, it's like you took the Conan the Conan physique and put your own cartoon head on top of it. It's very destructive, the digital fantasy land. So other than, you know, e-begging, I talk on e-begging a lot. I talk on the manipulation of their own fans, but, you know, look into themselves. You know, if you're listening, any of you, are you going to admit that you're living in a digital fantasy land? You know, do you judge your self-worth by how many Twitter followers you have? If so, that's pretty terrible. And that's not just a problem with the YouTube gaming community. That's a problem in general. People judging themselves by how many Twitter followers they have, as if that freaking matters in the real world.